saw it up there.
Fascinating fact for the day, John. And I learned this last night. Couldn't believe it was true. I looked it up. Turns out it is.
Really?
Which of the 50 United States is closest to the continent of Africa?
Well, you would think Florida, but I'd have to say probably something, that probably is not true.
Is that your guess?
But no. How about California?
My wife thought Hawaii, maybe coming around the other way.
Well, Hawaii, but
State of Maine.
Maine.
Maine, because it's
Because of
farther
temperature?
east than anything else.
That's true.
And its easternness makes up for its
true.
northerness.
Gene?
By about 30 miles.
30 miles.
Hey, Robbie, how you doing?
Okay.
I assume you
I
knew
just,
that
I
already.
just learned that about a month ago.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought Maine, actually.
No.
Got it?
Yep.
Well, it's like so many things we're used to, we've tried to flatten out a round globe, and they try to put it on flat.
Well, that's the
And you
thing.
don't get a real clear idea of distances. The farther away you get from the equator, the more distorted things are.
Right.
That's why everybody thinks Greenland is
Yes,
east.
go on.
You got me,
That's the reason why I know.
Any news?
Why I said people probably guess Florida, but there's no way because it's
No,
close
I
to the
did
equator.
reach out.
Yeah, I
and
thought
then
20
this
miles.
afternoon
I really
to,
would have thought Florida.
Steve Quarterly to see, I haven't seen a response yet.
That's to me the second most fascinating fact I know in life. The most
Yeah, you
fascinating
guys heard
fact is
from
that
him?
President John.
evidently we're gonna talk about some incentives tomorrow. Alan has started.
That
some
fascinates me. Nobody ever
So
believes it.
you're talking with him tomorrow?
1840.
I don't know if we're talking to him or if we're getting together to talk about.
Oh, okay. Has a
Yeah.
grandson that's still alive?
Yep. He was from the tradition where.
Is
you know,
this
people
on or
had
off?
Large families and
They
kept
are.
going.
They're on now.
Yep.
Yep.
And so he had 11 kids, like his first wife, and then she died, and then he had 10 kids for his second wife, until he was in his 70s. And then, one of his kids did the same thing, and had kids when he was in his 70s, which is why he's now got an 85-year-old grandson running around.
That's pretty incredible. That's
Yeah.
pretty
He
incredible.
had 2 of them, and one of them died last year. Or 2 of them, passed away. Well, now that I've shared that, we'll get the meeting started.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna talk about that too.
But
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about that.
I'm going to go ahead and call the January 2022 meeting of the Board of Aviation Commissioners of the City of Warsaw to order. You all should have received various agendas and attachments, either electronically or physically. The first thing we need to take care of, Mr. Mayor, I understand you have convinced Mr. Zale to re-up. So
And I dressed up for it.
I will pass that on to you.
Very dapper.
So did he, at least for him.
He's got the clean khakis on.
Yeah.
Gene?
Yes.
Thank you
Yes, sir.
for making it official.
If you want to do that, it's fine.
Let's do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Most appreciative you're willing to continue on.
Absolutely, we
Let-
gotta get this job done.
Experience and expertise to the board that we just can't find anywhere, so
Well-
we looked, but,
Yeah,
so with that, are you sure you want to do this?
yeah, another floor, yeah.
Okay, perfect, well, I'm happy.
Okay.
I was hoping that's what you'd say, so. So what we'll do is we'll make it official here. I'll have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Gene Zale,
I, Gene Zale,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and diligently,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
And
and
diligently.
diligently
discharge my duties
discharge my duty
as a member of the Board of Aviation Commissioners
as a member of the Board of Aviation Commissioners
for the City of Warsaw, Indiana,
for the City of Warsaw, Indiana,
according to the law
according to the law,
and to the best of my ability.
absolutely the best of my ability.
All right, Gene, congratulations. Thank you. I'll have you sign it and print and then pass that down to Madam Secretary.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Couple more things now that we have done that are not on the agenda before we move into the normal meat of things. First of all, some of us here on this board served while Karen Sheets was airport manager at the airport. And Karen passed away last week, I believe. And I would just like, for the moment, her contributions to the airport and the growth of the city of Warsaw through that, really hard to measure, because she worked hard at that job. And first of all, when I first started, she was the full-time airport manager, and then she served as interim airport manager for a while we were between. And I'd just like to take this moment, take a moment of silence for Karen, if we could.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. The third thing that we need to do before we get to the meat of the meeting is elect airport board officers for the upcoming year, 2022. So anybody that wants to volunteer to do anything, this is the time to speak now, or forever hold your peace.
I make a motion that we continue with the board as we have at the airport board. Jay, president. John, vice president. I, secretary.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. I actually have been serving this year as president, not having any knowledge as to whether you gave me that job in January, because I wasn't around. But I thank you again for your confidence, and thank you for all of you serving as my fellow board members. It's greatly appreciated. Next is the minutes from the December 14th meeting of the board.
I have one thing that I just need to change, that I forgot to add in the minutes and that we need to correct from last month. Underneath new business, section 3, I forgot to add in that I am the airport manager. We just had to have that language in there for the loan paperwork. And then the other thing that needs to be changed, if you can remember back that far, it was before the holidays, I know, we talked about monthly payments, annual payments, back and forth. The monthly payments would have been $3,250. The annual payment was not to exceed $39,200. After all the discussion back and forth, the motion that was made was for the total to not exceed $183,685. That number is correct. But we said $32,500, and I did not catch it. That number is actually not to exceed $39,200. So I will be making that correction to the minutes with the board's approval. Those are the correct numbers. When we made the final motion, we just got a couple numbers mixed around is all. So we have not signed we needed to wait for these minutes to be corrected before we could close. So once these are corrected, then we can move forward and have the official closing for the tractor done.
So with those corrections made, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Claims. What do you have for us next to specifically discuss?
Well, most of the stuff we talked about at the meeting last month, there was a lot of large POs that we put through, that we have been working on those open projects. The antenna update system with BIT, the financial feasibility study with Baker Tilly for the CIP, the $37,979.88 for CHA was our portion of the runway 1836 project. Radio updates with ICOM and J&K for the city radios, and then our aviation radios out at the airport. down payment for the tractor. We PO'd that. God bless you.
Bless you.
The crack seal from Seal Master and the snow plows finally came in that we had ordered back in October, came into W.A. Jones, so we got that stuff in there as well. So if I missed something, let me know what that was, and I can go over what that was specifically. The only other two that are specific that we will need board approval on is for Ascent Aviation. We had, let's see, that'd be 2 loads of jet fuel totaling $20,661.81. Sorry,
Any questions?
those two.
I move we accept the claims, especially the $20,661.81 for Aviation Group.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Okay, CHA is next, our engineer, and I gather Nathan's on the phone instead of Bob?
Yep.
Okay.
Robert was stuck working with a big master plan project today with another client, and so Nathan volunteered to come and hang out with us for a little while here this evening.
Well, congratulations, Nathan.
So it's good to be with you.
Yeah? What do you got for us?
A pretty short update. Happy New Year, everyone. Good to be back in 22 and off and running. So just a couple quick things here. First up, runway 1836. We're continuing to work with the FAA on the grant amendment, but we do have some good news. We were able to work with the ADO to allow an increased drawdown on the grant, which allows us to pay down a good chunk of the retainage currently being held for Fenn & Brown. So we would seek a motion and approval to process Fenn & Brown's pay request number 6 in the amount of $110,000. That covers about 60% of the retainage, and then once the amendment goes through, then we'll be able to pay the rest and close the project out.
So if you guys remember, we talked about this at our last meeting, because there was the change order for the dirt stabilization. They were still owed a little over $200,000, and Nathan, tell me if my math is off on that. And because where it fell in the FAA's fiscal year, the grant amendment was taking a little bit longer to process. So to help Fenn & Brown out, we went to the FAA and said, they allow us to go to a maximum of 97.5% of the project in payouts. The project is done, we're happy, the grass is good, I think the pilots are pretty happy with the new runway. And we were trying to do our best effort to pay our contractors that have done the work while this paperwork is finalized by the FAA for the grant amendment. So this is what that portion is. And then Victor did say he was hoping in the first couple months of the year to have that paperwork through, right, Nathan?
Yes, that is correct.
So I support this.
Okay.
Me too. Do we
We
need a
need
motion?
a motion.
To that effect?
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the partial retainage payment to Fenn & Brown. I don't remember your exact dollar amount, 110?
110, yeah. Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve pay request number 6 in favor of Fenn & Brown in the amount of $110,000. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say nay. Motion carried.
All right, thank you. So moving on to the runway 27 obstruction project, otherwise better known as the AEP power lines. AEP is kicking off internally this week, actually on Thursday. So this really starts to set into motion a lot of things. So as we ramp up here in '22, we'll probably have bigger and better updates as the months go on, as they start to get their legs under them on this and get the design moving forward. We'll start to see things like schedules and materials and things like that'll start to come to light, and we're anxious to see those things coming through. So concurrent with the design development, they are working on what they're calling a construction agreement, which would be a follow-on agreement with the board that actually allows them to move from the design phase into construction. So as we get that language in draft form, we'll be sure to circulate that, make sure that gets the proper review before presented to the board for signature. On the hangar door replacement project, Nick, I wasn't sure if you had an update to that or.
I do.
Okay.
We have the final pay app from Robinson for that. All of it was, everything is done. Zimmer is very happy. The door's been operational for a couple months now. They've been in and out a few, half a dozen times, if not a little bit more, in the couple months it's been going. And so I'd like to present this pay app number 10. This will completely close out the project for a total of $14,612.89.
Okay, so you're happy?
Yep,
Zimmer's happy?
Zimmer's happy.
You guys happy?
Yep. Make the
Okay.
motion.
Okay, I hear a motion to approve the pay request. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. One abstention for the record. I don't need this, do I?
What's that?
I don't need this.
Oh, no,
Okay,
I need that. Where's the, oh, there's the claim.
probably under there. Yeah.
Yep, that's what you need.
There you go.
Okay, last item on the engineer's update, and we'll spend a few minutes on this, but please ask questions along the way if anything comes to mind. So over the course of the past probably 3 months, we've really been working hard with Nick and our partners at the FAA and NDOT to revitalize and I'll say overhaul the CIP for Warsaw. And a lot of that focus was put around the runway 927 safety area, the program that goes with that, which obviously includes what may happen with County Road 100, as well as other portions of infrastructure on the airfield. And so with the engineer's report, we've provided a quick summary of that CIP as we plan to present that to NDOT and FAA at the end of this month. They do an annual update that's due February 1st each calendar year. So what you see in front of you is not just a 5-year plan, but it's actually about 12 years. It really looks both in the short term in the next 5 years, but also projects out beyond that to capture what we know at this time to be both functional as well as operational needs for the airport itself. So you'll see in the spreadsheet that we've tried to capture by color projects that are tied together in phases. So for example, the runway 927 RSA program is a light green, and you'll see that throughout the list from phase 1 all the way through. I think there's phase 6 is the last one. So one thing to emphasize is the top project in the current fiscal year is the runway 927 RSA program, phase 1, which is I'll say the foundation for where we take this project over the next 5 years. We'll start out with a RSA determination study and a program definition that as of right now, we've done our best to estimate what these phases of the project will need to be. But really, beyond what you see in fiscal year '23, which is the environmental assessment, the phases 3 through 6 are really a best estimate as we know it today. So in current fiscal year '22, we'll do the RSA study. We've also plugged in to begin design on Taxiway Bravo and do a rehabilitation of that pavement. I'm sure most of you have ridden on that pavement, and to call it a washboard is probably putting it lightly. So our goal is to do the design this year and apply for a construction grant next year. And then the last item we have in fiscal year '22 is a wildlife hazard assessment survey. And what this is a quick assessment. Usually requires 2 or 3 site visits, and allows us to determine and also justify at the same time the need for a wildlife fence around the perimeter of the airport. And there's been some, I'll say, casual conversations with Nick and his team of I'll say, barring off deer and other wildlife. So we think the end result is likely going to be the need for a fence, and so that's what we projected in the CIP further down. Then as we look into next year, in the fiscal year '23, again, the top priority is the environmental assessment and aeronautical survey for the RSA program, the construction of the Taxiway B rehabilitation, and then again, we're looking at a second design focusing on the terminal apron. So you'll find in as you go through the CIP, this is strategic in that we're always trying to have a construction project and a design project as we're going. So we've got a lot of ground to make up. There's been a lot of pavement on the airfield that's been in need of rehabilitation or repair in some form. And so we're trying to pull those projects up as near in the CIP as we can. So I'm gonna stop there for a second because I know I've thrown a lot at you. And really, once you get beyond 2024, it's our best estimate, as I mentioned. So a lot of this is probably, and will likely probably change as we go through 22.
Nathan, the 2034 end date, there's nothing magical to that under the statute. That's just where you happen to run out of ideas, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gives me 12 years to come up with more ideas.
Yeah.
And so just one thing to note too, there are a few bits and various pieces of information that we'll be pulling together that support this list of projects that do require a signature. So we would seek the board's approval to submit this on or before February 1st.
What we've done in the past is a motion to approve the plan and authorize me to sign it on behalf of the board.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
That's so moved.
Okay, I thought so. I thought I heard something. Second?
Second.
Okay, been moved. Seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Got that taken care of.
Very good. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. All right. Manager's report?
Fire away.
All righty. So as I told you guys last month, I thought we would end the year fairly flat. We did. We were up about just shy of 10,000 gallons year over year. 2020 to 2021. And I'm really hoping that with the facility fees that are going into effect as we speak, that number will increase over the next year. You guys asked me to try and get that done for January 1. They are posted at the airport. We've had some issues with holidays of updating all the different websites. We don't just have one website we advertise on, and so working with all of the different companies has just taken us a little bit of time to update that information. And so we are giving the customer the benefit of the doubt right now. To date, we've not had a customer who's been to the airport that hasn't bought fuel that would have otherwise paid a facility fee, so that is nice. We've told them, we are moving in that direction. And hopefully here in the next week or two, we can have all of those updates completely done and then have that firm in effect. The other thing we've been doing is calling some of our larger customers that do frequent the airport, the NetJets, Executive Jet, Management, some of the other 135 companies, just so that they can update their records with our new facility fees, so they're aware of that.
Do we have a lot of action from those types of?
It comes and goes. There was a couple times during COVID where we had I bet we had 18, if not 19, EJM jets in a 4 or 5 day period, and I think we sold a total of 800 gallons. We didn't have a facility fee, so we were a really good staging place for them to swap out crews, swap aircraft, whatever the case. And they knew that we didn't charge anything, so they would meet at Warsaw, spend the night, use our courtesy car, go get dinner, that kind of stuff, which is great for the community. That's one of the main reasons we're here, is to help support those small businesses that way. But it doesn't put any money in our pocket to keep the lights on either. So we're giving those larger customers just a heads up, hey, this has changed. And we've not heard any adverse comments back. And they say, oh, yeah, no, we'll make a note in our records, and we'll see you guys probably here in the next couple of weeks, most of them said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's not gonna be a difference
No.
maker for them,
No.
so.
And the Christmas season is coming to a close. I mean, this is a pretty quiet few weeks for us. Typically through Martin Luther King Jr. Day, there's lots of vacations. Closing a year, opening a year, we don't see lots and lots of traffic right now. So December, January, typically a little bit quieter. So unless you guys have specific questions on the fuel usage report or income statement, I brought up the tractor contract. I filled you guys in on the claims with that. The only other thing that I have for you is the annual bond payment that I just need the board to approve for $375 for the FBO business to InGuard. So we need a motion and
approve
approval
the
for
bond
that.
payment to InGuard for $375.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to pay the bond to InGuard. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
I lied, I have one last piece of information.
I knew you weren't telling the truth because I saw that file sitting there.
This was just this was a last minute thing, so I apologize for this not being on the agenda. Dan Harstein is a current tenant at the airport. He and his wife own a hangar on the north end, actually not too far from John's hangar. And they were working through some of their affairs at the house and realized that her name is not on the hangar, and in the event something would happen to Dan, they wanted to rectify that. We looked at doing a lease amendment, but if you guys remember a couple years back, we went through the FAA land use audit, and we came up with a new lease at that time. They asked that we at least make it an option for tenants to sign a new lease when this type of thing comes up. So I did present that to Dan, and he thought it looked great, and he didn't mind the extra couple years added to his original lease.
Okay.
He is a great tenant. We never have issues, so I would fully support this 100%. And it would just be them signing a new lease to replace their old lease, to bring them in underneath all of the new FAA rules, state rules, airport rules, and all of that with the modern language. So-
Additional signatories. So
Yep.
we have one more person that's on the hook.
Correct. So I just need a motion, if the board so moves, to approve this for Dan and Amanda Harstein.
Is this lease going to fill the time of the old lease, or is it extended on?
It will be, since this is a new lease, it is starting now, and then this lease will go through the last day of December 2041 with one option to renew.
I make the motion, we approve the amended lease with the Harsteins.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the lease amendment with the Harsteins. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. 2041, huh?
Yep.
Well, Gene, when it's time to renew this lease, you got to go
Wow.
talk to him.
I'll take that under advisement.
Now I'm actually done.
Yeah, well, actually, no, because you're going to answer a question of mine. Speaking of leases, we had issues where we're dealing with a tenant for vacating. Is that hangar empty now?
Not quite.
Okay.
We are working, the letter has been made. We are sending another letter with photographs of what is in the hangar with a time of, this is when it is to be emptied by.
Okay.
And we are working to make every, what's the legal term, every necessary possibility for them to be able to empty their items out that are left in the hangar before we clean it out and dispose of those items.
Does it appear to be that they have moved the stuff they really wanted out already?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
There's a,
Dan
Hard for you to
Harstein?
tell.
Yes, I
there
do.
is more, it just seems like things in there kind of changed. So we are working, we have changed the locks on the building, so they need to come to us now. And
Okay.
I'm working with the city attorney to close that out. So hopefully by next month or maybe March, we can maybe let that out to somebody else.
Okay, can folks from Storage Wars come out? Bid on it outside, we'll close the door and have a bid on it?
I'll let you make that call.
Yeah.
But we
Well,
are,
Mayor, The Bachelor was good publicity for town. You would think Storage Wars would be good publicity for town, wouldn't it?
I love that show.
Okay, anything further from the board for Nick? Mr. Mayor, you have anything else for us tonight?
Nope, just glad Gene's back with us,
Yeah.
or will continue with us. How's that?
Yeah.
Josh, you got anything for us tonight? Okay, we still have you for this year as far as we know? Okay, good. That way we don't have to tell somebody new what AEP and CHA and all those stand for, because you got it all figured out now, so.
next meeting.
Okay. So at conclusion of the business, we will adjourn, and our next meeting is February 8th, 2022 at 5:15 PM. We'll see you then.
Thanks, Nathan.
You bet. Have a good evening.
Yep.
everyone.
You too.
Thank you, bud.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nathan.
All right, see you, gents.
Project, that BLT we were doing down at the Parks Department, he ordered steel.